Welcome to the talking point of this video. In case you're new here, my name is Katja and this channel is my online diary about thousands of lives that I want to live through music, travel, language studies, books, basically all the things that I love in life. Where do I start? Because yes, the first part of this video, I believe it's a very small part, I didn't film too much, is me being in London. But to give you the full story of everything, I need to go back a few days before I left for London. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the first video that is gonna be up on my channel where I'm filming in my new house. I'm super happy. It's lovely. There's also so much natural light. Like, it's such a difference from the last house. But yeah, I will talk way more about this all in the vlogs that will be coming up, so stay tuned. But yeah, let's rewind a few days prior to me leaving for London. Okay, maybe even a week to be exact, because I had an appointment at the dentist. Everything went fine, but then a few days later, something started to hurt, and it was not on the side where I had the appointment for. It was on the other side. And if you are an oldie over here instead of a newbie, then you know that last summer I had a root canal treatment. Yes. So on that side it started to hurt, but I was like, you know what? I really want to go to London, I want to see my friends, so it should be fine, right? it was ish like everything that I ate during the weekend in London. It hurt. It hurted so much. But I was also like, it's fine. It's totally fine. But once I got back to the Netherlands, I was like, yeah, let me make an appointment. And I got in. And the dentist was like, well, I have bad news. And I was like, okay, hit me. He was like, so your molar, the one that I treated last summer? I was like, yeah, it's split in half. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, but you went to London. You just ate normally. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it did hurt. And certain foods hurt more than other foods. But I was like, yeah, well, whatever. And he was like, you should have been in agony. And I was like, well, it wasn't that bad. Like, I know I just said it was hurting bad, but it was not to the point that I wanted to cry or something. It was more like I had the sweet tooth the whole weekend instead of there. I don't know. My pain tolerance is quite high, so I was like, whatever. And yeah, it did hurt, but not as much as the dentist was like telling me that it should have. Anyway, unfortunately that day he couldn't help me, so he just pulled the molar parts away that was easy to pull, and also quite a lot of debris. It sounds so off. And then yesterday, so I'm filming this exactly 2 weeks after my London trip, on a Saturday. So 2 weeks ago on this very lovely day, I was shopping in Selfridges on Oxford Street, just in general, walking there together with my friend. But yeah, instead, yesterday I got the molar pulled. It was so bad that they couldn't fix it. And my dentist was like, yeah, we have to pull it. I'm so sorry. And I was like, well, it is what it is. Like, because of the root canal treatment, the molar just, it started to weaken. And that sometimes unfortunately happens and there's nothing to do about it. Well, there would have been a possibility, but because my molar split into the part of my jaw, there was nothing they could do. So, if you do see me in agony at some point during this talking part of the video, it is because I am in agony. Honestly, guys, being away in London and eating food and it was hurting bad sometimes, that was nothing compared to what I'm feeling right now. It is, honestly, I'm surprised you don't even see it. But it feels all bruised up. Honestly, my whole jaw, and yeah, it's a lot. Anyway, I've been talking about this now for way too long. Maybe you got too much information, but also maybe you learned something. That apparently your tooth can break into. I mean, I knew that, but to have it that bad was a lot. This probably goes into the books of my top 10 weird things that happened to me while I was traveling. Technically it happened before I went away, but still. It's crazy to think about it, that apparently it broke while I was across the pond. Because the thing is, it probably took quite a few days, so when it was starting to hurt, there was probably something else going on before it broke, but we'll never know. Because he was surprised, my dentist, that I didn't notice when it broke. Because he was like, you should have felt that. And I was like, I didn't feel that. Like, it just started to ache a little bit, like a sweet tooth. But yeah. I've done far worse things. So my pain tolerance, just to give you A little backstory on my pain tolerance. Apparently, I once had an ear infection, and you're not allowed to fly with an ear infection. And I went to Scotland, and I was feeling not the best before flying, but I was like, oh, I'm fine. And, and when the plane took off and it started to get up in the air, it felt like there was a knife in my ear. And I was like, oh no, I've got an ear infection. Because if, like, I know I've been talking very casually about the fact, like, oh yeah, apparently my tooth broke in half into, like, when I went to London. But I know if you get an ear infection and you go on a plane, that's not the way to go. You can become deaf, and I knew that. So if I would have known that I had an ear infection, I would have not gotten on that plane. But I did, and I couldn't hear for 2 days straight. Luckily, everything got restored fine. I got some treatment in Scotland, but yeah, I would never have gone on that plane. But gotta love traveling, right? No, honestly, London, it was amazing. It was amazing to see a dear friend of mine. She's from the States, and she's the same one that I've spent some time with last year when I went to London. But this time around, I didn't went for a week. I went just for 3 nights. Yes. So that's also the reason why I took the plane, because normally I prefer to go by train. I love to go by train to London. But this time around, I didn't have the time with work stuff and all that jazz. So I went by plane, met up with my friend, because honestly, I really went to see her. So I had no other plans in London. I had a small list of things that I was like, oh, I would love to do this, but it isn't a must. My friend, to see her, to hug her, to chat, that's the must part of the weekend. And we had such a lovely time. I didn't feel much, just because I was very much living in the moment and just enjoying my time off there. And yeah, it was truly amazing. It was so funny because we stayed in Hammersmith in a pub, and that is her preferred place to stay at when she is in London. And we spent a lot of time in that pub last year, just drinking and stuff like that. Lemonade for me. I don't drink alcohol, or very rarely. But yeah, I decided this time around also to stay there. And it was so funny because I got in at 6 o'clock at night, and I was hoping that it would be around 6, because my friend, she had to go somewhere else to a different pub along the street to meet up with certain people, and then she would pick me up at the pub where we both were staying at, and then we would go to Finney to see the Marie Antoinette exhibition. It was so good, y'all. But before I get into that, my friend decided to pick me up from the pub, and I was like, oh, could you please come to the room? I need your opinion on something, what to bring to Finney. And she was like, yeah, sure. And that was the moment we found out that our rooms were literally side by side in a corner. It was so funny. It felt like such a grown-up friend sleepover. It was amazing. And also, I don't know, it felt just great. It's probably also the last time that we meet each other in London. Well, not the last time probably, but the last time that we do it, so in January. Next year we have plans to go to another country to meet up, but I will share that later. Anyway, so after we found out that fantastic news, we went to Finney to see the Marie Antoinette exhibition. It was so good, y'all. I loved it. It was smaller than I expected it to be, but I did like how the rooms were set up. It was especially designed for what was on display. It felt very cohesive. And I also loved how they played with different parts of the storyline of Marie Antoinette. And we, honestly, I can rant about that woman for a very long time. But she is quite interesting. We don't give her enough credit, and that's also one of the takeaways of that exhibition. Like, they're also saying like, hey, she was very influential in that time period, but we don't give her enough credit. And to be honest, I think it's even bigger than the exhibition was telling. Like, for example, the croissant, a lot of people think it's from France. Well, actual fact, it's from Austria. That's also the reason why you find a lot of boulangeries in Vienna, is because it's from there, or the croissant at least. So, little fun fact. And Marie Antoinette, with her sweet tooth. Yeah, there's a theme going on here. She introduced a lot of pastries to France. So, the more you know. Anyway, that exhibition was great. I especially loved the part of all the big fashion houses that were inspired by her style and have developed collections with Marie in mind. I thought that was exceptional. And also that room was great. It looks amazing. I mean, the second room, because there's this pink room you get in, and then the second room where are a lot of old dresses, like Marie actually wore, or other people close by her. That was also a great room. But for some reason, the designer room, if I may call it like that, was spectacular. It felt like it brought everything together what we saw during the first part of the exhibition. I thought that was great. Yeah, so lovely. I could have spent so much more time there, but unfortunately we really were on a time crunch, because those tickets were hard to get by, first of all. Second of all, we had the time slot of 7:45 at night. So yeah, they start clearing rooms at a certain point. If you hear something in the background, someone is busy. I mean, to be fair though, it's less noisy since we moved. Oh, and it's gone again. Lovely. I really love this new place. Yeah. Okay, so Fine was great. We had dinner at night. We got a pizza. And on Saturday we went. No, wait. You know what? I'm gonna incorporate the haul by just talking. So, on Friday night, when we got back in, we went to the pub. And after we got our drinks, well, technically our second pub of the night. But we were like back at the place where we're also staying at. And after drinks, we exchanged gifts, because it had been my birthday literally the day the day before I flew in. It was the birthday of my friends, but unfortunately I couldn't make it to be there on her birthday. But hey, I was able to make it shortly after. Anyway, so we did a gift exchange. I got her licorice from certain European brands. I got her Pandora, the ones that are exclusive to Europe. I got her the windmill of the Netherlands, and I got her something from Portugal. Not that I've been to Portugal, but funny enough, I can also get that on the Dutch website. And she had been to Portugal, but she couldn't go to Pandora. So I was like, okay, no worries, I will grab it for you. And there was something else. We got each other so much stuff, to be fair. But let me show you guys the stuff that she got for me. She also got me Pandora. And this is exclusive to America, I believe. Because I couldn't find it on any other website in Europe. Oops. Here we go. It's so cute. I really hope you can see it. It says, but first, coffee. And I stand by that. I need my coffee in the morning. And I always have it like a few hours after I'm awake. I think that's very important. But I do like me some coffee. So she got me that one. Then, ooh, we've got a big haul of Taylor Swift. So this is something that I knew. Well, no, I knew everything. Oh, okay. She also got me a towel. I'm so sorry. I think it's, yeah, it's in my hamper. But it's a funny quote, a very American Southern quote. She got on a tea towel for me, which is so cute. I didn't know about that gift, but I did knew she was getting me this. And yeah, it's a Taylor Swift CD, The Life of a Showgirl. And I already have that one. So why did she get me this? I got it signed! I am so freaking happy. I love it. So yeah, she got me that, which is so incredibly sweet. She was able to snag one for me. Then, this was sort of a surprise because she asked me if we have Rolling Stone in the Netherlands, and I was like, we do, but it's like well over 40 euros. And she was like, oh, that's very expensive. That's almost triple of what we pay in the US. And I was like, yeah, it probably is. So she ended up giving me the Rolling Stone Taylor Swift The Ultimate Guide magazine. I love it. Cannot wait to have some time. Technically, I have some time because y'all, after this video, I'm going straight to bed. So yeah, she got me this. And it's, wait, how do I start? It's yeah, official Taylor Swift The Eras Tour book. I did not know how big this one was, but it's gigantic. It's heavy, so I was really happy because I only had cabin luggage, but I didn't bring that much with me. I only brought like one pants, a couple of shirts, and then like sanitary products and toiletry stuff and underwear, socks, you know, but I didn't bring much with me because I knew this one was coming, but still I was not expecting it to be this big. But thank you so much. In Europe, it was so incredibly hard to get this one. There were only like a few thousand when it went up on the website, but that was pretty much it. And in America, it's so much easier to get this one. So she got it for me. I adore my friend. Anyway, so on Saturday, we went to Oxford Street and we had a lovely time. We were supposed to go immediately to Selfridges, but we got distracted. We got distracted by the Body Shop. So it all started with the new scent, or well, the scent from the 90s that has been brought back, and that is Dewberry. And I was like, hey guys, I wish I had space in my cabin luggage to bring stuff with me, but unfortunately I'm already up to a liter. No, well, less than a liter, but the plastic bag was already full. And they were like, well, haven't you heard? They just changed up the rules if you are flying from Heathrow and I believe Gatwick? I don't know, I'm really bad with those names because normally I don't fly into London. This was literally my first time flying into London. All the other times I went either by bus, I've done that 2 times, and more times than I can count by train. So, I don't know. So they were like, you are now allowed to take up to 2 liters from Heathrow back to wherever you're going. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. So, I went shopping to Body Shop. I got myself the Dewberry perfume oil. I really wanted to get the mist. However, I didn't like the mist as much as this one. And my friend, she was like, and she's really into fragrances. She has followed multiple courses about it. She was like, honestly, the oil of this one is so much better. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get the oil. And then I was very practical because I suffer from extreme dry hands at the moment because of all the weather changes. We have had snow and now the sun is shining super bright, but there is still snow. Then everything is gone, it heats up again, and then it gets back cold again. So my skin is like freaking out. So I got the hemp moisturizer for your hands, and I also got the lip rescue stick from hemp. Yes, and then I started smelling some other perfumes or toiletries, and I was very curious about this one, the Blue Musk. It's an eau de toilette, and it's definitely one of those smells that would describe me very much. So I was like, okay, I really need to get that one. I love this one so much. So I got that, and then the lady and I got talking, and she was like, oh, do you want to see one of the exclusives from this branch of the Body Shop? And I was like, of course. And she let me smell the tobacco flower. This is also an eau de toilette. Yes, this is also one of the smells that would describe me, to be honest. Love it so much. I can't even describe it, but it's definitely the tobacco, but also it has this deeper smell, but it's also super fresh. I'm really bad at describing fragrances. And I'm also, yeah, that's the thing as well. It doesn't help how particular I am. I will get into that in a few minutes because I have a really funny story about that. But with all this, they had like this thing that if you spend so much money, you get this and this and this. So I got another hand cream and something from the strawberry line. But the strawberry line is my mom's favorite. Oh yeah, it was like a body butter and shower gel. But that's my mom's favorite, so I gave it to her. Yay! After a few stores, we finally ended up at Selfridges, and we started at the Dior pop-up, and we loved that one. It was so great to see multiple parts of the collection all coming together. I adore Jonathan Anderson, his take on Dior and the brand, and how he makes it so wearable, whimsical, but also very classic to Dior. So we had a brilliant time there. But then we went up a few floors and we ended up at Jellycat. Yeah, I finally have it. The soda pop lemonade. How is it called actually? This one? Oh no. I got rid of the tag. Anyway, I got the soda. Or lemonade. Soda sounds more American. So lemonade? I don't know. We got it. Or well, I got it. I think my friends got something else. Oh, before I forget, I also got the pin version of this one and the pigeon. Because I collect pins, or just in general, whenever I'm traveling, I like to collect pins. So I got that. And then we went to the makeup and perfume section. And here comes in the story that I want to tell. And that is that I'm very particular with smells. So we went to the counter of Dries van Noten, and he is a Flemish designer. And last year when we went into Selfridges, my friend, she brought home a few of those travel sizes from that brand. And back then I didn't got anything, but there was one particular smell that really stayed with me, and that was the bitter splash. However, if you want to get these travel sizes, you have to buy 3. So that's a bit important. You can't just buy 1. I don't know, it's just the rules, so I played along with those. But the bitter splash was one of those smells that I was like, I really want to get this one. But then I was like, if I get the big bottle, that's quite an investment. So I was like, do I really want to do that yet? So I was like, you know what? I'm fine with taking home 2 other perfumes, but at least I have a travel size of the smell that I really want, and I can test it out if I want to commit to the full big bottle. I love this one. It's also very fresh at the beginning. That's the pomelo. And then it goes so much more deeper. And that's the latter part. It feels... It is this kind of smell that has so many layers, which I absolutely love. So I got that one. But then, of course, I had to get 2 more. And the guy, he was like, you're so particular with your smell. Because I was immediately like, okay, I like it for someone else. I just don't like it for me. He was like, well, at least that gives a good explanation of what you want. So the second perfume that I was like, okay, yes, I like this one, besides the bitter splash, was Santal Greenery. Yeah, this is a very fresh smell, but then it also has this flowery vanilla tone. Yeah, I like that. And then for the third one, the third one took ages, guys. But he was so lovely, the guy. It was also because it wasn't busy at all at that section, and the clients who took up so much of his time while we were standing there waiting, they didn't buy anything. And I was very much set on buying certain things, so he was like, okay, I'm at least gonna make a sale with these girls. And anyway, the third one was the Chamomile Satin. This one is, oh, how do I describe it? Again, I'm really bad. But it's definitely that chamomile and vanilla. It's... I at first wanted to say this feels more like an evening night perfume, but then again the chamomile brings it back to earlier of the day, but it wouldn't be necessarily a perfume that I would wear already in the morning, to be quite frank with you. And he also ended up giving me a small gift, the Orange Smoke Eau de Toilette. And honestly, I really love this one. He really listened to me of all the specifics that I told him, like, I like fresh, but I love deep, and I adore vanilla, but that one isn't a must. But he was like, this one, you're gonna love it. And I was like, okay. And he was right. So that was Selfridges for us. Somewhere during the day, but I can't remember when, we went into Boots to grab a drink and a snack, and I got the Vaseline Emily in Paris limited edition. It has this beautiful color on the inside. So I was like, okay, I need to try that one out. My friend, the reason why I got this was actually because my friend noticed this one, and I was like, yeah, I need to get that one as well. We went into multiple stores at Oxford Street, like Pandora, but neither one of us bought anything there. It was just, we wanted to look at the Bridgerton collection and just in general what they had in, but neither of us bought anything, even though we both adore Pandora. Oh, I've been talking for such a long time at the camera. I don't know if editing me is gonna love it or not. Anyway, we also went to Uniqlo. What were the other stores? I can't even remember. But one of the last stores we went into was HMV, and we got some CDs. My friend, she got some CDs and also a DVD. And I ended up getting Olivia Rodrigo's This Is Live from Glastonbury. So I got that one because I heard so many great reviews, but when I was listening to it on streaming, I didn't really like it as much. But then people said, no, this one is a set to enjoy on CD because it sounds so much better to let it come from stereo. And they were right. I can confirm it sounds so much better on stereo than on streaming. Then the other CD I got is Ray, My 21st Century Blues. I also cannot wait for her next CD. Unfortunately, I had to sit out her concert in Amsterdam, as in I didn't even got tickets, but I was just not able to manage to go there. But I do hope to see her one day live. And again, I'm super excited to her new works that will come out next month by the end of it, like the 27th of March or so. Anyway, cannot wait. Then one of the last stops of the day, if not the... No, it wasn't the last one because we also went to Dawn Books. So we, from Oxford Street, we went all the way up again. And we went to Space NK. We first went to the fancy one that opened on Oxford Street. That one isn't as good. If you go to Space NK and you really want to have, well, I mean, it probably depends which collection you go for. But if you want to get stuff from Rare Beauty, please go to the one that is on the same street as Dawn Books, because that one has so much, and the people working there are also way nicer. So I got some things from Rare Beauty because I'm running out. So this trip was very much needed to stock up on certain things, and I got the Stay Vulnerable Glossy Lip Balm. Currently I'm also wearing one of them, and that's the Nearly Mauve, and that one especially I go through so quickly because that's actually my everyday gloss. I love how it gives color to my face. I love how, yeah, I just love the color, and I love how it fits most of my clothes. Saturday night arrived and we were tired. We were so done with the day, and I was like, do we want to go to like a bigger restaurant? Do we even want to wait in line? And my friend and I were like, no, I honestly think I want to go to bed. And but we did want to have some food, so we had an early dinner at the Fetch Box. I also went there last year, and this year we ended up there again, but this time together and for dinner. And it was lovely. Dinner was so good. So that was amazing. But once we got back at the pub, we didn't went into the pub. We just went into our rooms, and well, I had to shower at her room actually because the power pressure of my room was for some reason way off, and because it was the weekend there was no handyman. That was a bit sad. But I showered at her in her room, and after that we both went to bed and had a good, both a good 9 hour of sleep, which was great. And the next morning we decided to, well, do a late morning. We both packed our bags already to see if we could shop more, and we both still had room. So after we had brunch, we went to Harrods, and at Harrods I really wanted to get the chocolate Jellycat, the chocolate cake Jellycat. But y'all, I didn't think it was worth the price, and I don't know, the vibes were off. Even though I liked the concept, and if it would have been cheaper, I probably would have gotten it, but I was like, no, this price is way too steep for what it is, so I didn't end up getting it, but we did have some fun browsing at Harrods, and then we went to Soho, I believe. No, sorry. I just looked down and I was like, nope, nope. We went to Hatchards and then Waterstones, and that's where I got a book, As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Katau. I'm so sorry if I pronounce it wrong. It has an exclusive short story inside, and it's also signed by the author. So it was quite funny when I opened up the book. I was like, okay, hey, she wrote something inside, and I read it, and it says, "Dream, may your trials end in full bloom. August D," and then signed by the author. And I was like, oh, August D, Suga, BTS, yes, this is the copy I want to get. So I got that one, and I cannot wait to read this book. I actually met the author a couple of years ago for work, and she was lovely, but I don't know why. I believe I was in a time crunch, so I wasn't able to get her book and let it be signed by her there at the event where I was working at. But I'm really happy that I got a do-over basically with this. So my friend and I, we went into Boots, got drinks and snacks again, and we headed into Soho. We visited a few stores. We had so much fun. But the day before, we actually made a reservation at Tofu Vegan. And I don't know, we were both like, okay, we're pretty much done in London. Again, it was very much for me to just see her. And she already had spent like a week in London, so she was also pretty much done. So we ended up very early at the restaurant, like almost an hour early or so. But the restaurant was like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. Like, yeah, have dinner at 5 instead of 6. Like, it makes also our lives so much easier. And I was like, okay, perfect. So we had again an early dinner. But the food, so delicious. Also, the people who work there are amazing. We had lovely chats with multiple people working there. Also, because they had the time. Because it was so early in the evening. Like, there weren't that many people there, and also because it was Sunday. On Sunday in England, it's very much Sunday roast, so in general it was very quiet in the restaurant. There were other people there, but not that many, and we ordered a lot of food, and it was so delicious. Even though, yeah, again, it was hurting, but it was fine because it was so delicious. And that basically ended. Oh, no. I have one more thing for the haul. So, Sunday night rolled around and we went into the pub. Of course, we needed to have our end chat and just chatted the night away. Both of us, we really didn't want to let go of the other person because we knew, like, okay, it might be a while before we see each other again, but yeah, in the end, we did have to say our goodbyes, and the next morning, my friend had to leave at like 6:30, 15. It was really early. It was a little past 6 at least. And luckily, my plane took off way later of the day. So at Heathrow, I did something I've never done before, and that is going to do some duty-free shopping. And the thing is, I was eyeing something, and that something was... Thankfully, the vlog already gave you a hint. But I got the Dior Addict Lip Glow. Yes, I love it so much. It was something that I had been eyeing online. I saw it and I was immediately like, I really want to check out that color. And the color is 63 Pink Lilac. But of course I could test it there to check if it was really what I wanted. I don't know. But yeah, it's that kind of pink purple tone that I also have on my walls. And when I saw it for the first time in ads, I was really like, I want to see how it looks in real life. So I tested it, got it, had the most loveliest chat with the people working there at Dior and how do you say it? Her security guard. It was such a funny story. They knew each other back from when they were kids, and then one of them moved inside of London, so they went to a different school, and 20 years later they met each other again in Heathrow. And one of the girls works now as a security guard and the other one works as a shop lady for Dior. And funny enough, the girl, the security guard, she works a lot in the area where her friend, the shop lady, works. So it was such a fun, cute story. We talked for a very long time. It was also very adorable because I was after another woman who was, well, she is a wife of a very wealthy man. And it was very noticeable, but it was so funny to see how she was spending her money. But at the same time, she was also like, oh, I'm so sorry, I should have let you go first because you only have one thing. And she was very like apologizing to me, and I was like, trust me, I have the time of my life watching this. Don't apologize. It was the best duty-free shopping that I could ever gone myself. And it was so funny because when I was waiting on her to get everything packaged for her and whatever, I realized that during this particular trip, I bought my first 2 designer things, like the perfume from Dries van Noten and also the Dior lip glow. I was like, huh, times are really looking up for me. Even though, like, okay, this was duty-free shopping, by the way, so this one wasn't as expensive. It was half of what I would have paid in store in the Netherlands. So, and I really wanted to try this one out, and I had quite a lot of money left, actually, cash, because I did a cash exchange a couple of months ago. So I was like, you know what, why not just treat myself? But yeah, it's fun to buy certain things that you never thought you were able to buy one day in your life. But yeah, I'm working hard for this, so I for sure don't take this for granted. I know that it's not normal to buy like designer perfume and designer lip products all in the same trip. Like, that's insane. But I'm super happy that I'm at a point of my life that I'm able to afford this. Yeah, so it also feels like a very proud moment, this whole trip, to just say like, oh, I will pop into London, see one of my closest friends, and then buy certain types of stuff that normally I would never been able to afford. But I really created this life that I'm, yeah, proud of. And that's the thing that I also want to film this, because I really started this channel because I wanted to document certain parts of my life. I'm someone who lives very much in the moment, but at the same time, because I live so much in the moment, I'm always sad that I don't have certain memories captured. So This trip is definitely one of the things that I want to capture forever. So, yay! I hope you liked this vlog. I mean, the whole part was the longest part, but I hoped you liked this chatting part as well. Or maybe it was just some white noise for you in the background while you were doing something else. Nevertheless, thank you so much for listening to me, maybe even watching me. And yeah, it makes me happy that you're here. And I hope you have a lovely day. And I also hope to see you next time. Okay, bye!